Coming up,
It's as if we're in an episode of The Sopranos.
firebombs, threats, intimidation.
They are trying to terrify that man's family.
The dangers of trying to clean up
Back off. Don't go near that company.
Australia's construction industry.
Are you brave or are you stupid?
Maybe both. If I back down, the union's finished.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
No one ever thought rebuilding the crime-riddled and corrupted CFMEU was going to be easy. But in the year since 60 Minutes, The Age, Sydney Morning Herald and Financial Review exposed such rottenness in the construction union that the Albanese government was forced to take action, there have been significant wins. Some good people are working hard to clean up the mess. Despite their efforts, though, incidents of violence, threatening behaviour and intimidation continue to occur. And the perpetrators are not just from within the union. Building companies, which once enjoyed cosy relations with the CFMEU's old guard, are now being implicated in allegations of serious law-breaking. It's not long after midnight on the 3rd of February this year, and the peace of a quiet suburban street is about to be shattered.
Well, here's a couple of heroes with cans of petrol.
Two masked men race towards a home where a young family is asleep inside. They've come to send an unmistakable message. Back off, or you will pay. Oof.
Up it goes.
Watching the CCTV footage with me is Michael Crosby, the recently appointed head of the CFMEU in New South Wales.
My blood absolutely boils. These guys are bastards. There's just no other way to describe them.
His anger is as understandable as it is palpable, because the target of the attack is one of his own, a veteran construction union organiser who was simply doing his job.
I mean, it's designed to scare the living daylights out of the organiser's family.
And I presume it worked?
Well, it did. It's forced him out of the union.
When you first watched the video of the firebombing, what occurred to you?
I was gobsmacked that this was happening in this country. It's outside my experience. I feel like I'm in an episode of The Sopranos. It's bizarre. It's Australia. Do we really have this going on? But clearly we do.
We've previously told you plenty about the infiltration of the CFMEU by bikies and gangland figures. Our latest story takes a new turn. Now it's a major company accused of orchestrating a terrifying campaign of intimidation aimed at the union. The allegations are contained in an explosive interim inquiry commissioned by the CFMEU administrator. Tonight, we reveal its contents and name the company allegedly at the centre of it. There's no doubt the CFMEU is working hard to move on from the bad old days, where leaders like John Setka and his cronies revelled in cosying up to gangland figures and bikies and made a mockery of union principles.
I'll never ever be ashamed putting more money in the pockets of building workers, ever, from any fucking employer. They're making fucking millions. We want a bit. That's all it is. Fuck that.
What I'm trying to do today with you is press reset. We're going back to the factory settings of the CFMEU.
Michael Crosby is the new order, brought in by the union administrator 8 weeks ago to clean up the mess.
I'm moving at warp speed because I think there's real urgency about fixing this union up.
Crosby has devoted his life to fighting for workers' rights, and he's respected as an effective, no-nonsense union leader. He's wasted no time bringing in clean-skin organisers and removing those loyal to his predecessor, Darren Greenfield. Greenfield was a gangster in disguise who recently pled guilty to taking bribes from a building firm, part of his MO of running protection rackets for companies even if they ripped off or endangered workers.
He used the enterprise bargaining system to privilege certain companies. He then bullied people into doing what he said. And it's clear to me that there were certain subcontractors where the organisers were told not to assess compliance.
Those subcontractors he was looking after, are some of those run by criminal gangs?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm absolutely certain.
The union protection racket created dangerous work sites, exploited workers, and led to rampant criminality, precisely what Crosby's organiser was investigating late last year, when he and his family first came under attack. We can reveal that 3 months before the firebombing, his house was plastered in graffiti by masked men, who later returned to slice through cables and cut the power, leaving the family cowering inside in pitch black.
And this is immediately after he's done a compliance check on a particular company. They called him a pedophile, called him a CFMEU dog, meaning somebody who dobs on his mates. You know, really disgusting stuff.
What was the message that was meant to be sent?
Back off. Don't go near that company.
That company, which company? Who is behind, in your mind, this campaign?
It's a big formwork company called Future Form. I am convinced that they are the people responsible for the attacks on our organiser.
Future Form is a booming major player in the construction industry, headquartered in Sydney, but with operations along the East Coast. Its CEO is Nabil Hafsa.
Stop allowing your brain to make you comfortable. Always think, what's the worst case? If you can deal with the worst case, fucking do it. I've been living my whole life like that.
Whether it's rubbing shoulders with the New South Wales Governor or hanging out with the stars of the Canterbury Bulldogs, of whom Future Form is a major sponsor, Hafsa likes to talk up his links to the community and his leadership credentials.
We all know that in this room now, there is not one problem on any construction site in the entirety of Australia that we can't figure out.
Future Form has become a powerhouse, the contractor of choice on everything from CBD skyscrapers to huge government sites like the new Western Sydney International Airport and even the Australian War Memorial in Canberra. They're a Tier 1 player?
They play in Tier 1, yep.
But Future Form may not be the inspiring success story Nabil Hafsa claims. The CFMEU organiser who came under attack believed the company was cutting corners and running a shadow workforce of exploited employees who were paid cash and denied superannuation and other entitlements. The firebombing at his home, within days of an investigation into serious safety issues on a Future Form site, suggested he was onto something.
He didn't go near that company for some months, quite sensibly, I think, frankly. But then he got a call from workers on the site saying the place was a complete mess, it was really unsafe. And frankly, to his credit, he thought, OK, I've got to do something about that.
What site are we talking about?
The Western Sydney Airport site.
This is a major government project.
Huge, yep.
This is a place where the public would expect there to be good safety and conditions and no worker exploitation.
Absolutely.
The organiser said what he found shocked him. Dangerous scaffolding and workers that he suspected were cash-in-hand subcontractors, all pointing to serious alleged breaches by Future Form. As he shut down the site and prepared to go through the company's records, his phone started ringing incessantly. It was his de facto brother-in-law.
It goes off 7 times. He thinks something terrible's happened to the family, I better take this. He excuses himself, he takes the call. There are 4 guys who have got hold of the brother-in-law. And the brother-in-law tells him, they know where your wife and daughter are. Bad things are going to happen to your family unless you ring Nabil within the next 5 minutes, apologise to him and say this will never happen again.
Futureform CEO Nabil Hafsa has rejected as entirely false the organisers' account of events. What happens next?
He does exactly what he's told to do. He is scared. He rings Nabil, apologises, says he's backing down, and Nabil says words to the effect of, brother, I love you, we've got to be friends, we've got to get on together. This should never happen. We warned you 2 times before, you just didn't listen. And the call ends. So then there's another call from his brother-in-law, and you've got to withdraw the notices of right of entry that the union is sending to the employer so that they can go through the records and check compliance. So our organiser rings up our legal officer and says, withdraw all those notices. We're not doing anything more to this company. And the notices are withdrawn.
Threats to family, violence. Where are the police in all this?
The organiser's not prepared to give evidence. Again, he's scared. There'll be further retaliation. The result is he's had to leave the union. He just feels he cannot be involved in this any longer, and I don't blame him.
Have you seen anything so vicious, violent and downright bad?
Nothing. I've never had an organiser treated like that. Never anything like this. This is world's best practice when it comes to criminal behaviour.
But, as you'll see, this veteran unionist is fighting back.
Our aim is to send a signal to this employer and to the industry, don't touch our organisers.
It's early morning at CFMEU headquarters in Sydney.
You've got the list of questions sorted.
Yes, I've got a question.
And boss Michael Crosby and senior union officials are preparing for a highly unusual event.
They're there for our safety.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's going to take a swing at us, then...
That's what they're there for, yeah.
Normally, it's the police who wear body cameras.
There we go. Beautiful.
But this morning, Crosby and his men are the investigators, as they wield special powers to swoop on a company the union alleges has orchestrated arson and other terrifying attacks to cover up rampant worker exploitation. So what's happening now?
We're going to this work site. It's a question of what we find there.
So this is against a backdrop of alleged intimidation and threats. Is there a safety concern this morning?
Sure. We're worried about it, but our aim is to send a signal to this employer and to the industry, don't touch our organisers. Because if you touch our organisers, we really are going to come back at you.
Their target is Futureform, one of the fastest growing construction firms in Australia.
See, I'm going to go and do compliance checks on that company. If we find that they're not compliant with the enterprise bargaining agreement that they've signed with us, we will sue them for the underpayment of the workers. We will also go them for damages.
To put it another way, you're saying you can come to our organiser's house, threaten a relative, threaten his family, but we won't back down.
No, absolutely not.
Despite the union's claims it's involved in serious wrongdoing, Futureform has snared big infrastructure projects, like the Federal Police headquarters at Western Sydney's brand new international airport. The Federal Police building is being built by an entity you say is allegedly at least involved in serious violence.
Yeah, I know. Beggars belief, doesn't it? But
it's a shocking look, though, isn't it? The Federal Police is meant to be cracking down
yeah,
on alleged criminality in the construction sector.
It's surprising, there's no doubt about it.
Allegations of firebombings, threats, the rorting of workers, what does that all point to?
Oh, organised crime, criminal activity on a large scale.
Former Detective Inspector Ken Ashworth has seen it all before. He previously led a joint federal-state task force into worker exploitation and tax evasion on Australia's waterfront. The company Futureform alleged underpayment of workers, alleged non-payment of superannuation, alleged sham contracting, and alleged links to very serious intimidation, firebombing tactics. Is that similar to what you cracked on the waterfront?
Similar but not the same. We didn't have the fear and intimidation tactics.
You're saying this is worse?
Oh, this is clearly worse.
We contacted Futureform's CEO, Nabil Hafsa, to see what he had to say.
Hello?
Nabil, it's Nick McKenzie here from 60 Minutes.
The 60 Minutes?
So I need to ask you questions about Futureform's role in threatening a CFMEU organiser.
Yeah, why are you asking us?
Is Futureform been involved in the firebombing of this man's house?
No way in the world.
No. What about sham contracting and underpayment? Hello? Hello, Nabil? He's hung up. Nabil Hafsa denies all allegations of wrongdoing, claims which have also never been tested in any court. In a later statement, he told us the firm is being attacked because of its integrity.
We look forward to clearing our name and will fully cooperate with authorities to do so.
With the CFMEU cleaning up its act, it's clear violence and intimidation are now a company problem. Separately in Victoria, the construction industry has been rocked by a spate of firebombings, at least 10 arson attacks across the state since late 2023. The Comanchero bikie gang is a key suspect in many of the fires, but police have not laid a single charge. Among those torched, this Williamstown business, owned by the ex-wife of disgraced union power broker John Setka. Why are crooks turning not just to arson, but arson outside someone's family home?
It's the fear factor. If you don't do what we want, you'll be next. And this is what we can do to you.
In another incident, this vision, obtained by police, shows the Melbourne home of the owner of a major construction company. It's early April this year, and he and his family are asleep inside as the flames erupt outside their front door. In Victoria, the fires are now being investigated by a state police task force called Hawk. It was slow off the mark, with Force Command taking almost 12 months to give it any real resources, and only then after media pressure. In New South Wales and Queensland, there are no police task forces at all. For its part, the Federal Police has only a few investigators probing organised crime in the industry. Surely police should be all over this sort of activity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the police want to be, and it leads to enormous frustration. But you can only do what you can do with the resources and the tools available.
If the cops can't crack this for whatever reason, should it be left to the CFMEU itself to go after these companies, especially when they're companies involved in alleged arson, alleged intimidation?
No, that's a role clearly for the police. But for the regulation side of things, the CFMEU certainly have a role there, more so than the police. So they could actually work hand in hand to clean up the whole industry.
How far are we away from the clean-up that's needed?
Long way from what I see, a long way.
If police are slow to move, bikies are not. Evidence shows Comancheros from Melbourne have roared into Queensland, hired as heavies for construction industry companies. It's a law and order scandal, but the Queensland Premier believes it's not cops, but a commission of inquiry. That's the only answer.
Because for too long they've lurked in the shadows and we can't allow it to continue and to continue to fester.
Not quite a year in as Premier, David Crisafulli says his Royal Commission-style inquiry will expose the CFMEU as a thuggish and corrupt union incapable of reform. Respectfully, Premier, your government has been highly critical of the CFMEU, its violence, misogyny, etc. We've heard less criticism of companies who credibly appear to have used or subcontracted out work to gangland figures and bikies. So isn't it time to heap a bit of scorn upon them?
Absolutely, and I'm calling it out right now on a national show. And the Commission of Inquiry won't be one-sided. Illegal behaviour is illegal behaviour, and the Commission needs to get to the bottom of it.
You're saying the Commission will go after business, big business, that has engaged gangland figures or engaged in improper tactics to deal with a ruthless CFMEU?
Well, it must.
Do you hope to see the head of the Comancheros from Melbourne up before your Commission of Inquiry, grilled, interrogated about why he was here?
I'll leave that for the Commissioner, but I don't want to see bikies on Queensland job sites in any way, shape or form.
But the Premier, it seems, has already made up his mind about the fate of the CFMEU.
I don't believe there's a place in modern Queensland for the CFMEU. I don't think that they can be reformed. I don't want to see a situation where there isn't union involvement on job sites in Queensland.
So you want to kill off the CFMEU, full stop?
I don't see how they can have a place in a modern Queensland. I don't believe they are able to be reformed.
Aren't you prejudging your Commission of Inquiry?
Well, we're not dealing with one or two bad apples. You're dealing with a broken culture of a union that is rotten to the core.
CFMEU leader Michael Crosby says the Queensland Premier is a union basher, not a corruption buster. Crosby, though, is demanding Labor governments do more to help the union clean up the industry and investigate companies, not only like Futureform, but others he says are obvious fronts for gangs, like the Bandito Bikie Club.
We've had one builder sack a unionised labour hire company and put a non-unionised labour hire company in there at the bidding of somebody from the Banditos.
Sorry, from the Banditos?
Yeah. Now that same labour hire company is seeking to take over the crane sector, which is an area of tremendous importance in the construction of big buildings.
So to some extent, bikies like the Banditos are still calling the shots?
Yeah. They're going to try to, and we're going to plan our response to that, because I'm not letting that happen.
Michael, you're not just taking on unsafe workplaces here, you're taking on organised crime.
Yeah, who would have thought? But it's a job that has to be done. If you want a union, then we have to deal with what's there.
You've got to give Michael Crosby some credit, for he's willing to put himself on the line and go where so many others haven't. But up against entrenched gangland infiltration and powerful companies with allegedly dirty hands and a lot to lose, you've got to wonder what chance this veteran union leader has of forcing real and lasting change. You're doing a hell of a thing going on national TV, calling out entities you say are involved in the most serious of violence and intimidation. Do you leave this interview now looking over your shoulder?
Oh, yeah, sure.
But it's worth it?
Why should somebody be able to get away with this kind of behaviour? No, I can't back away from that.
Hello, I'm Nick McKenzie. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minutes segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.